Welcome to another episode of Cuisines and Conversations, the show where we have great cuisine and even better conversations. This is episode 2 of the two-part series on wellness, mind, body, and spirit. On this episode, we'll be talking with Shamari Renee Cherry, also known as Shay, owner of Diamond Faces, to talk about wellness from the body and soul. And we'll be back in the kitchen with Chef Trey, the BK chef, learning how to cook some street food. This episode you don't want to miss. Welcome to episode 2 of the Wellness Series. We are here with Shamari Renee Cherry, also known as Shay of Diamond Faces Skin Bar. Total Skin Bar.
Skincare bar.
Skincare bar.
Right.
Total Skincare Bar. Diamond Faces Skincare Bar. And this is a treat because she is one of the first, or she is the first. The first transgender woman to own a skincare bar in the state of Georgia. Ever?
I'm the very first one.
Wow.
I just got that award. To be honest, I got the award in April, right here.
The city award.
This is the award I got. The men recognizes Shamari Renee Cherry for International Trans Visibility Day. What happens is they found out that I was the first trans woman of color, so they reached out to 10 trans individuals in the community that they wanted to celebrate, and it was mind blowing. Like,
wow.
I was so emotional because when I started my business, I didn't think it was going to be where it is now. I doubted, to be the first is something you were different.
Right.
You take chances. You're alone. You walk alone. And I didn't think from starting my business from my home to getting an award almost 10 years later. I had no idea. I didn't have an Instagram at first. Actually, I bought my first machine in 2012 with no clients. I had nothing but a machine in the room. So I started, my male friends from the community started coming and getting their facials or whatever. And they were sharing on their social media what they were doing. So people was like, where are you going to be? What are you doing? I was like, I'm going to Shay, get my face done. I'm going to Miss Shay. So people were coming to the house. So in 2013, I had, on a Friday, I had 12 clients. All men, all black men at my house. So I know my neighbor thought
what's going on, baby?
Okay. So that night, after I finished everybody, I said, I want you something, but I don't know what I want, And I Googled images of spotlights, sent, and guess what didn't come up?
What?
No men, let alone no black men, for no skincare company at all. Which meant, light bulb, I want you something. Mm-hmm. I said, so I'm afraid they're going to talk. They're not going to want to come to me because I'm trans and I'm not operating on my home. But I don't think that people are going to come. And this guy, so I said, well, since I have so many male clients coming already, nice spiders are great. Let me use them to promote my business and not use me. I didn't want to use my image, so I used them. So if people talk about them, they're going to say, well, her clients look great. Because we're looking at the men that were coming, you don't look at gay, straight, or whatever. So I started using them, and the rest is history. That has been the best decision fit, because believe it or not, women only make up 10% of my demographic and the market.
Wow.
That means it's an untapped source of income, or it's an untapped market for the business of aesthetics. And with Atlanta being Black Hollywood now, I do anything from athletes, models, lawyers, judge, police officers, tons that come to Atlanta, they come to get their face done. And I think that's a great thing, because I think it also pushes the image of men taking care of themselves, especially black men. Don't nobody want nobody getting it with no rough feet.
Right.
Or acne bumps or stuff like that. Take care of yourself. And I feel like also, we're talking about wellness, I feel like once you invest in time into yourself or put into yourself self-care, it makes you feel good.
Right.
So I feel great that I do offer service to the men, African American men, whether they're gay, straight, or whatever. I feel like they should, all of them should treat themselves like kings.
That's right.
And invest. Because if you think about royalty, back then in Egypt, they get milked. They were the ones that created all of the skincare stuff. Did you know that? The Egyptians were the ones that created all skincare. The embalming the body, perfumes, cleansers. And they always think about, when you see the kings and queens, they always get milk baths or adorned and stuff. So I feel like, treat your body like royalty.
And you have to. When you, like you said, when you're talking about wellness, it has to be the mind, body, and soul.
Right, that's so
and so you have to have that body piece in there.
Yes.
Now you talked about starting out and being the first and being a pioneer, but you've done so many other things just in conjunction with the skincare bar. You are the founding mother of the House of Chanel, and we're gonna talk about that because I didn't even know there was a ballroom scene in Atlanta.
God.
So we're gonna unpack that. And then you also are a talk show host. I mean, when we have Salon Talk on WTT.
Yes,
so I want to get all into.
Okay.
I want to get all. So let's go back to day one when Shay decided she wanted to go into doing to being an esthetician. What motivated you?
I was a makeup artist first.
Okay.
I wanted to work for MAC. I wanted to be like, when you go to MAC, you feel good. The music's bumping, everybody look good, makeup beat. I'm like, that's my tribe, you know. Applied with it for like 2 years and got one interview with them. One. Now this is the thing. This is before trans began to trend. Okay? So I got rejected all those times. I got one interview. The first interview I got with them, the lady said, Miss Cherry, your makeup's look great, your references look good, your portfolio looks good, but are you an esthetician? And I was like, no, I'm a makeup artist. Like I said, no, I'm a makeup artist. I have no idea what an esthetician was. So needless to say, I didn't get the job because the response, I didn't know what an esthetician was, and I was gun-ho on being a makeup artist. Now, you know how people say, tell God your plan, and he'll laugh. He was laughing his head off at me.
Because that was your plan?
Because that was my plan. He was like, no, I want you to have your own. So, needless to say, when I left the interview, I was devastated, heartbroken, and the girl that interviewed me saw me at the food court looking all sad. So she told me about the School of Aesthetics, International School of Skin and Nail Care. I should check it out. I checked it out. Started in 2005. Now they sold me the makeup portion was this big, but you learned everything else before you even got to that. So that's how I fell in love with the skin. The first time I did a microdermabrasion on someone, I remember their reaction, and what I realized is we like results.
Right.
We don't care if you bust a pimple. We don't care if you tweeze the hair out. We like results. So to me, it's an instant result.
Right.
So when you see instant results, you say, "Oh baby, okay, I've got my money's worth." So I fell in love that day. Now I never thought it would turn into what it's turned into. Of course not. I did not think that at all. I didn't think I could afford, and that's the thing. I used to beat myself up about it because I didn't believe, but I put on the image that I did. You know, and I don't come from a background where I was said, you're a Shay, you're a trans woman, you're going to be great. I don't come from that. Right. Unfortunately, you know, I come from a marginalized community, and I'm proud to stand in that. But I don't come from a place where they say, where these companies create a platform for an individual like myself. So to have taken that and use it to my advantage, I pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
Long term, I want to be able to give other trans folk or people that are non-gender conforming or whatever the opportunity to find something that they can do to feel good with themselves as well. So.
And it's funny you say that because in our previous episode for the wellness series, we talked with someone, Anna Shay Wright, who is a chief disruptor of Disruptive Partners, and you yourself were being disruptive to the industry norms, and didn't even probably know that you just had that push and that drive. Yes. And Diamond Face's skincare bar is more than just about the outer appearance.
Oh, no.
I'm sure when people come there, they get some of everything, and it's not just the face.
No,
right?
Well, for one, it's actually therapeutic. Because this is a place that can come and be vulnerable or be transparent. Like they're laying there and bare, so I see everything. So they get to talk about their insecurities. A lot of times they just talk about everything they dislike about themselves. So that's the shocking thing to me. But once they get in there with me and they start talking to me, I paint them a whole different picture. So like you said, I talk about everything, the whole body. Like, because one thing about it, if you feed yourself good energy or love on yourself, it's going to reflect that there. I believe in that wholeheartedly, absolutely. No.
And then you have your own skincare line.
Okay, yes,
some
actually,
things here with us.
Well,
And you also do laser hair, right?
Yeah, I just finished school for laser hair removal, medical. Thank you, God, it's over. But well, to be honest with you, when COVID happened,
Devastating.
oh my God, it was mind blowing. Like I was stuck. I didn't know what else to do, you know. But that's when I started to decide to go to school for laser hair removal because everybody's hair, especially us, color folks, we hate it. My ladies, we hate it. They hate it. We don't really even want it. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like, of course, this is something that'll never go out of style. So I decided to go to school, back to school. I can't even believe I did it. I just finished in April.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I got my medical license to do laser hair. So I'm a laser hair practitioner as well. Medical laser hair practitioner now, finally, thank God. But that's my newest baby that we're going to start to push within the next month or two. But what I brought is, well, I started my skincare line in 2016.
Okay.
So today I brought Diamond Faces Wonder Bar Soap. Turmeric. Have you ever heard about turmeric?
I have heard about you.
Do you know how amazing it is for skin?
No.
Okay, and the key factor, turmeric is first of all, it's natural. It's an anti-inflammatory. It helps tremendously with acne. It's amazing on oily skin. It dries it up. It also helps fade dark marks, and it's actually keeps your skin looking glowy, naturally fresh.
I need that.
And the reason why I brought that too is because with the mask finally coming off, okay, I know that this area is highly affected, especially with my ladies and my males that have beards. This area is inflamed or messed up, so I can honestly tell you this turmeric right here, it works wonder.
Can you use that all over the
over
body?
your whole entire body. Because the thing is, a lot of times when people have oily skin, they have back pain.
So it's having acne everywhere.
Really?
So it's not just the face. I've had acne on the chest.
What do you use?
I use just a Dove.
What's that going to do?
Thank you. Diamond Faces Skincare Bar has its own turmeric wonder bar.
It does everything. It is amazing. It helps with, especially my male clients, because believe it or not, men have oilier skin than women. But a man's skin is easier to fix than a woman's. The reason why women have cycle issues. Okay, so in the hot spot between their cheek and their chin, when they come on the cycle, when they go to the cycle, improper diet, stressed out, good food, bad food, anything, it flare up. With guys, it doesn't do it like that. Guys just have oil, they create excessive oil. Or when they start sweating, sweat from the head down. So whatever dirt and stuff is there, and it suckles down into the beard. You know, hair does what? Hair holds moisture. Hair is really, the beard is really nasty because it holds everything there. But once again, once you clean it, guy's skin will not break out like woman's skin. It's I prefer to do.
What about the peeling or the chafing?
Okay, the chafing. When it comes to the chafing, sometimes it depends on how much alcohol the person's consuming. What do they use? Because sometimes a lot of guys are just using soap, like ivory soap or soaps. Really, they're not really for the face that dries it out so they can create chafing. You know, and a person can also be oily and dry at the same time as well. So the seasons change, the skin change. So the spring might be the season where the skin is perfect, but the fall might be the season where the skin chafes the most. But what can resolve chafing is exfoliating. A person should exfoliate at least a minimum 2 to 3 times a week. It is actually, yes, it is the fountain of youth. You know why?
Why?
The skin is a voluntary organ. So just like you scar your elbow or whatever, and the outer layer of skin is made up of most of the skin cells. So what happens is when you slough that skin off, you're basically manipulating your skin. I think that is wounded. So it'll begin to send a signal to the brain to produce new skin cells, which means the pores will be tighter. That's the breakout. The skin looks more supple, fresh, radiant.
I'm gonna have to go get some exfoliating gloves right now.
But you know, I tell people your hands. I don't believe in tools. You can once you with the tool. Say that what is it that they use? They're like, oh, Shay, I got this microdermabrasion thing brush. If you're not changing that hair, you're just using dirt on top of dirt, because what you're doing is once you store it in a dark, damp, cool place, germs breathe. So it's more put on that, so it can cause more breakouts. So personally, I don't feel like people use your hands.
Gotcha.
Keep it simple, keep it simple and use your hands. I don't feel like you should use instruments, especially if you're not trained. Because a lot of times you get us, think, I'm doing a little rougher, you break a capillary in your face or something, a vein, or you scarred or hyperpigmentate. So no instruments, use your hands.
And what else do you have?
Okay, so I bought that, and I also bought aloe vera. Aloe vera, as we know, aloe vera is one of the oldest regimens or oldest treatments that anybody can use on skin, and it works. It's a healing regimen. So with this is a soothing prayer. The reason I brought this, right now, the summer's coming. You sweat a lot, okay? And you might be out these cookouts or whatever, and you don't necessarily want to wash your face, but you want to get off the excess stuff. Pat dry it with a paper towel or napkin, boom. It cleans it, it soothes it, it hydrates it, it moisturizes it. Love.
And you can use this with makeup on too?
You can, because you don't need the last mist. It doesn't move. I love this. I love absolutely. This is one of my favorites. And also, last but not least, so one of my estheticians, her name is Shay. She makes her own. Well, basically, Shay's makeup diamond faces is body butters. Smell this. Remember, this is the peach something. It smells absolutely.
Oh my gosh, this is what you had on.
Yes.
She smells delicious.
Yes.
So now I know.
Yep, it is the body butter.
Oh
It feels so.
God.
Take a look. Like you can take and put some on here.
Yes, please.
And it has essential oil in it. It doesn't feel too greasy. And it looks rubbing on your other hand.
It doesn't. Ooh, I'm gonna be a snack.
And it feels good. It feels really good. It doesn't feel, because a lot of people use cocoa butter. I don't like cocoa butter at all because you have to keep reapplying it. The difference with this butter is you have to have an essential oil in it so your skin absorbs it. With the butters, it dries out or just sits, so you have to keep reapplying it.
Wow.
And with that feels good.
Well, speaking of butter, we're gonna head to the kitchen. We definitely gotta try some of Chef Trey's
Oh my God.
delicious food. Now, oh my gosh, have you heard of Chef Trey?
Absolutely.
Okay,
International
okay.
chef.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, he is here, and he is going to show us how to make some street food. So we're heading over to the kitchen now to meet with Chef Tracy. We are back in the kitchen, episode 2 with Chef Tracy. Trey, the BK chef. He's going to be showing us how to make some street food, and he is going to hook us up. If you were here for the first episode, you know he can really throw down, right? So there is no telling what he's going to do now, but you know it's going to be good. Now, Chef Tracy, if we want to get in touch with you, how do we do that?
You can hit my Instagram page, Trey the BK Chef. That's TRETAG BK Chef.
And you go worldwide, you're international.
Again, long as it's that's money.
Exactly.
That's money. Okay.
For the right price, you can have Chef Trey in your own kitchen, in your very own home. All right, let's get started with the street food.
All right, we're gonna make Mexican street corn, which is a favorite right now, and it's very simple. Everything you know I made in advance. Gotta put the gloves on because this gets messy.
Okay.
All right, we start off with the corn. I cut them down to niblets to make it easier. This is sour cream and mayo.
Okay.
Slather it in this. You gotta have the cojito cheese, as I was telling my friend earlier today. You can't substitute the cheese.
And it's called cojito?
Cojito, yes. And I use Cheetos Fire Nachos. And all I do is crunch them up.
Okay.
Very messy, but trust me, delicious. All right?
Okay.
A little green on there. All right, the next thing we'll make is a nice beef tinga, soft shell taco, just a regular grilled taco.
Okay.
This, again, is skirt steak with sauteed onions. I'll use a lot of lime juice. I'm a citrus person. Tomatoes and cilantro. Put that there.
Healthy and good for you.
Very healthy. I'm really into the health. Oh, put a little more, excuse me, let me get a spoon of this. Now, I make guacamole and I make my salsa together. So it's just avocado, lime juice, red onions, tomatoes, and olive.
Okay.
Just right on top.
And what we know about you is you don't use a whole lot of salt, but it still has all the
It
flavors.
has the flavors.
All the
Yeah,
flavors.
you don't need a lot of sodium for flavor. I'll sprinkle a little cojito cheese on here.
Cojito cheese.
Put a couple of limes. For garnish, squeeze over your taco. And if you know me, a little garnishment. There you go.
Looks fantastic. We are definitely going to be trying this. And again, how can we find out? How can we access you?
Well, if you go to my Instagram page, all my information is there. Again, it's Trey the BK Chef. TRETHE Chef.
Very first here. Thanks, Shay.
Thank you.
And we are back. Now we have gotten so much information about skincare, not only for women, not only for the ladies, but for the men. Because you said men make up what, 90%?
That's 90%. Women only make up 10% of the demographic, which is only really basic, just products.
Wow, wow.
I'm
And we know that there's still a lot of dusty men out there.
Oh my God.
Physically, like literally and figuratively.
Right.
So she can help you with the physically, the literally part when it comes to being dusty, because with these products, the essential oils, you will not be dusty. Okay, and then I'm definitely excited about the Wonder Bar, the turmeric Wonder Bar.
Every single, the Wonder Bar is the newest thing. The actual girl that makes it is black, and she's only 18. So I believe in putting back into the community one way or another. She's 18 years old. I started. Actually, what happened was when COVID happened, I did an online class trying to show how to use homemade stuff that's in your cabinet that you can use to utilize because you couldn't get out.
Right.
So I used that turmeric and it stained everything, my hands, everything was yellow. So I was so embarrassed. The class went horrible, but I knew the turmeric worked. So I ended up finding her during COVID, and that's my distributor.
Wow.
At 18, she just graduated from high school. That bar is amazing. It lathers good, it smells good anyways.
And so you helped shape and cultivate her.
Yes.
So she could be a budding entrepreneur.
Exactly.
And do what she needs to do.
Absolutely. You have to put into this younger generation because they get it.
Speaking about the community, putting into the younger generation, let's talk about the community, especially the transgender community.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the show Pose.
Right.
That show has opened up a lot of people's eyes.
Right.
Tell us about the ballroom scene, or the ballroom. Well, the ballroom scene here in Atlanta.
Well, the thing is, the great thing about the ballroom scene is that it isn't just here; it's worldwide now.
Worldwide.
When I first started, I'm the founder and mother of the House of Chanel International. I became the first mother in 1997. The House of Chanel was founded. I'm sorry, my dad would kill me. Was founded in New York City in the late 60s.
Wow.
My dad is still one of the founders. I call him Dad. He's the only father that I really know. He's still running around kicking. This is back before the now. So it's like a fraternity. Basically, that's the best way to do it. You have your mothers and your fathers, because unfortunately in our community, especially in African American community, when you come out and say, well, I'm gay, or I'm a lesbian, or I'm non whatever, where you go against the grain of the black aesthetic, a lot of times they put those kids to the streets.
Right. And you see that in that show.
Oh,
if you haven't watched that show, that's the reality.
It's the reality, and that's why I said it's a conversation that people didn't want to talk about, but it's fact. I can say I've been mother since '97. The hardest thing I've had to do was bury one of the kids. A lot of times the kids are young, and what they're trying to do is basically find love and acceptance. A lot of them come from broken homes, or they were put in foster care where they're abused or sexually assaulted or whatever, and they're left to the streets. So you left this child is 14 years old to fend for themselves. They still don't know if they're a girl, feel like a girl or guy. So that's a target to get attacked, to get beaten, to get taken advantage of, or even a lot of times killed. Unfortunately, because we brush it under the rug. A lot of times they don't even count them as regular people. They consider them useless.
They're not even seen as human.
Yeah.
Explain to us, because I know for me, when we've had conversations off camera,
Right.
I was confused about the difference in, say, someone who's transgender and someone who cross-dresses. And you broke that down to me, because I just thought LGBT, it was all just one,
I hate,
Well,
I'm gonna say this. I don't hate that, but I hate it because I love my non-gender binary. I love all the people in my community, period. However, you can't put a woman like myself that has had hormone therapy, that has went to psychotherapy, and has physically altered her body from taking hormone therapy, and then I live like this. This isn't a costume. This isn't
Right.
an act. This isn't a book I read. This is who I am. but you can't put that beside a guy that wants to just put on tights and a wig and some lipstick with a whole beard and say he's trans, but he's not. He's just plain, or he's cross-dressing, or he doesn't care. But no, it's a difference. So that's the unfortunate thing about the umbrella. They're trying to make everybody include one, and it's not. So as a trans woman, I identify as a trans woman. Was I born a male genetically? Yes, but mentally, I've always been here. For me personally, I feel that trans is a state of mind. Meaning, when you walk into my house, you're gonna automatically know that a woman lives there. And this has always been the way I dress, the way I act has always been her. Right. So I have never identified or felt like I was a guy at all in any shape, form, or fashion. It's funny because, believe it or not, I was afraid of my father. My father's Trinidad. He sold drugs, complete tyrant. Him and all of my uncles. Okay, my mom wasn't that. Believe it or not, my father was more accepting than my mom. My father said, the first time I met my father, I was 5 years old. He was in prison. I went to go see my father in prison. Okay, I think it was from I don't really remember. I don't know, but I know he was in prison. So my dad, once the transition happened, my dad, we had a talk. I finally got a chance to see him. He said he remembered I was like 7 or 6, and he saw me run to the backyard with my brothers. Because my dad has 12 kids. Okay. Wow. All boys and 2 girls, maybe 3 girls. I think the third sister, I don't know she was my sister. But me and my little sister, I know for sure. And he said he knew the way I was running. That was a girl. My grandmother said the same thing.
So it started in the mind.
Oh, absolutely. You know that you're different. It's no, that's the thing that people, the misconception that they say that one of the most ignorant things they say is, you made the decision. Let me tell you something, that is the horrible thing to say, because no one makes the decision to be ridiculed. No one makes a decision to almost their life can be threatened. I could walk in the store right now, somebody could murder me because they don't like me because I'm comfortable myself. How unfair is that? I mean, not for nothing but respect, or not to harm me because I'm comfortable myself. That's insane. So no one wants to think about that every day of their whole life. That's actually traumatic. You know, it makes you scared to be yourself, be your organic self, so you want me to live a lie for you to make your good situation easier. How unfair is that, you know?
So even as young as, you say 5?
Oh, I knew. I was no ifs, ands, or questions.
Wow.
I knew that I would have put on, I knew that, matter of fact, I remember seeing Diana Ross, and I knew that I liked the way she looked. Then I remember Vanity 6, not trying to tell my real age, but I remember seeing them, and I was like, I knew I wanted to look like her. I remember my father came, honest on everything. My father got out of jail and he picked me up and we went to McDonald's. He said he had to go pick up some money. There was these 3 white girls. They had on fur coats, fishnets, slutty red lipstick, blonde hair, and I remember him getting money from them, but I didn't know my father was a pimp as well.
Wow.
But
were they prostitutes?
Of course it was, and that was my first time seeing one, and I was like, I don't want to look like that. I remember thinking in my mind that they were pretty, but I didn't know that they were pretty. I just loved how feminine they were. I remember smelling perfume. I remember they having heels, stuff that fur coats, stuff that I like now. But I didn't look at, and that's another thing. People also get a misconception through this. Gender has nothing to do with preference. I knew that I felt like a woman before I even had been sexual with a guy.
Wow.
You know, so it's
Did you ever feel trapped? You know, some people say they feel trapped.
Absolutely, because my father sold drugs. My father was a thug, so I had uncles that wanted his sons to be like them, I guess. No, I never. So for me, I had to have a girlfriend or not to be picked on or whatever. It still happened, but you try to suppress it. I feel like that's where the downward thing comes out. I feel like it's unfair to a woman because a lot of times men are not comfortable with themselves, what they like, because they're going to be ostracized by their family or talked about or whatever, and it's not even their business. Someone's business what you're doing in the bedroom. So for me, it makes it hard. I feel like a lot of times, especially when it comes from the black community or from the church or whatever, that's the main topic or main sin that they want to discuss all the time, every Sunday. So once again, that makes a person from my community not want to go to church, and they're the main ones that probably need some praying for because what they're going through. But they're afraid because of what people at the church don't say about them or mistreat them or not make them feel welcome, which is unfair as well too.
Right.
So yeah, it does. For me, it definitely started. It's a state of mind first. I knew from even before that I felt like this.
Before you started the transition, you was
Oh, I
already
knew,
mentally
I
transitioned.
knew. My aunt said I would put on like my mother's heels when she goes to the store and hair. You know what I'm saying? So I never, and it wasn't a hard transition for me either. But I've been blessed to be comfortable in my skin to be able to talk about it. I've been blessed to be put in a situation or have a platform where people look up to me where I can say, listen, this is living my truth. I think unfortunately a lot of times with us, they don't want you to live in your truth. I don't know why. What makes me not human to want to be my true organic self? I feel like a lot of times suicide rate in my community is huge. It's huge because they're not taught love at home. First, the parents that you think love you because they don't want people, the church to talk about you or whatever, they disown you. That is devastating. That is absolute, and I've seen it happen. So you have these kids roaming around trying to find love, and if they don't find out, they end up being miserable, getting addicted to drugs or getting longevity or ultimately killing themselves. So it's actually sad sometimes, but people don't even see that. They want you to brush under the rug, don't talk about it. No, let's talk about it. We talk about everything else.
Or pray it out.
Or pray it out. Oh my God, I pray that you're, or it's okay for R. Kelly to teach the little girls who really did, huh? It's okay because he's a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
You never hear about a trans person, right? You hear about the preacher, or the bishop, or the priest. But they almost going to pass.
They are.
Because when someone says that transgender, we're beat, we're attacked, we're disrespected. Trump, to talk about the law side of the government, Trump dismantled every funding for every trans person. He took them out of the military. He said they couldn't defend the country. He also took a lot of the health benefits to other countries. He dismantled that so they couldn't do that. If they were getting to get jobs, he could get rid of them, they could fire and do it. Just a lot of things that make it dehumanize.
Right. And that's the most important piece of it. You're still a human. You're a human, no matter what sex you are.
Right. They just want to be accepted or loved. That's it. That's free. So why do people feel like we don't deserve that? You know.
Do you find that in the Atlanta area it's more accepting than where you're from?
Absolutely. Freaking, I'm from Virginia, Commonwealth. I know that I believe to have a business or the success that I have. Shout out to ATL community for loving Shay and being fully supportive to be in business 10 years almost. And my foundation is the LGBTQ community and the ballroom scene. They have made a way for me. They made a life for me that I didn't even believe that I could even have. So absolutely, like, and here in Atlanta, you know, everybody's got different. Gay is here, okay?
Period. It ain't going nowhere.
It ain't going nowhere. Like, it ain't going nowhere. And actually, what it makes also, if a person is uncomfortable with you, what's wrong with them? That's the real tea. I got two brothers that are heterosexual as hell and love me to death, love all my friends to death, married to everything, been in gay clubs with me and everything, been in my shows and everything, never seen them disrespect no one from my community ever. But when you have out of a group of 5, you might have one that's gonna make a big deal because he's the one that's insecure with himself or uncomfortable with himself or had experience and doesn't know. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking on just assumption, I'm talking on facts. Even with being homeless and everything, I wouldn't trade in that at all because I found me. And to live in my truth, I feel like to live in your truth, you have to sacrifice. Because unfortunately, a lot of people don't live in the truth, they live a lot for someone else. To live miserable. So I feel like that's the part that I to be where I am going to be happy with you. The food was amazing. Oh my God. The food was good.
Wasn't it?
How did he do the street corn with that? Y'all, he took.
It's his secret.
I can't tell you, but he took. I don't know. He did the corn with a sour cream or something. I don't know.
Sour cream
and butter. And he took Cheetos, hot Cheetos, and crushed them up. That's all I know. Freaking good. You can find Diamond Faces Skincare Bar on www.thefaces.com. Or you can go to my social media, Diamond_Faces with a Z,
Or you can go to my Facebook page, Shamari